G'day everybody, welcome to another episode of the EveryWei podcast. As always, I am Everyday. With me is Yulwei. How are you, man?
I'm excited to be talking about the off-season. Worlds is not anymore, and I just want to forget about the World Finals, obviously. So let's just
Yeah, we're not
jump
talking about that.
jump into the off-season and all the interesting changes that are going on.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, pretty big changes. I think this is one of the biggest preseason changes in a long time. Except maybe when the new map came out.
Yeah, I think platings last year was important and impactful as well. Changed more of the
Oh yeah, I agree.
strategic aspect. This is more of a stylistic change, I'd say. More flavor added to the Rift, more interesting animations, and a little bit
Yeah.
a little bit of polishing towards the visual side of League. But yeah, it's a big change.
Yeah, yeah, it's certainly a big change. I think the change to how important dragons are, and also two Rift Heralds, big deal. But we'll get into that. Obviously, there's a lot to cover. We're going to be talking about the preseason, obviously, as we let in, but also all the esports stuff. There's a lot going on. NA is basically a new region.
Yeah,
Is
every team.
anyone staying the same? Bit ridiculous there. EU, obviously a lot of the teams trying to catch up to the big two of G2 and Fnatic. Some really interesting moves over there. And Asia is doing Asia things. They're doing the same stuff, right? But,
Yeah,
don't have the same pool of
I
players.
think we can definitely see
Um,
the results, the international results, in the kind of moves that all the teams are making. And A teams want to reshuffle everything and try to completely find a new approach. EU teams just want to swap some players out, just want to improve their already good teams. And Korean teams, interestingly enough, go full NA in this respect as well, and just want to build something new. Almost everyone is changing their rosters in Korea as well, and some teams completely
yeah.
blew up, like Griffin, obviously, with the whole problems. We have no idea where all the Griffin players are going. So yeah, it's an interesting parallel between
Griffin.
the NA and Korean League, and then EU is somewhere a little bit more moderate. Very cool off season to
Yeah,
watch.
especially the higher ranking EU teams aren't changing quite as much. So, um, but yeah, let's get into it. We'll start with the preseason. I'm just going to straight up ask you, in your opinion, what is the most influential change? But you can't say dragon.
I can't say dragons. Okay. Yeah.
That's super
Of
obvious, right?
course, the alcoves. No, I'm kidding. The alcoves don't do anything. Oh
They're
god.
completely useless.
I haven't played enough to really experience an alcove, the usefulness or whatever the alcoves are for. So far, they haven't done anything for me, and I've played bot lane or top lane every game, so don't really know
Yep.
about them.
It,
What's the most influential change? There's side lane experience, right? There's lethality, there's crit changes, we have jungle changes. I've not really gotten into the jungle changes too much, especially for competitive. Most of the time you need to see some competitive games to really know what the jungle changes will be like in competitive play.
yeah.
So,
I've been playing a fair bit of jungle. So to give you a second to think, I'm going to tell you what my opinion is. It's no catch up XP.
oh yeah.
I think that's huge.
That,
Catch up XP's gone
that's actually a very good thing. Yeah.
because catch up XP sucked. It was really dumb.
It's gone only for junglers or for everyone?
Jungle
Jungle.
items.
Okay. Yeah, that's a big change. That actually means we get a lot of farming junglers next season, probably.
Yeah.
A lot of.
To quote Riot, we're incentivizing junglers to prioritize farming rather than just fitting camps in between ganks. Thank you.
Yeah. It's a
Thank
good.
you.
I think this change is very good. I like to see some ganks, but not. I'm not a fan of the jungler decides everything, especially in competitive. I want to see laning
Yeah.
prowess play out. I think we've gotten to the point where junglers are too important, especially if you look at series like Fnatic against G2. It's not only about junglers, but it's about jungle systems and early game systems a lot. And Fnatic had no right of competing with G2 if you just look at the laning prowess of the players, and they still were able to because they had a good strategy and they abused jungler.
Yeah.
Jungle, yeah. I like this change a lot. Might actually make the games a little bit more one-sided, especially domestically. When a good team with good laners plays against a worse team, we might just always end up with a good team winning, which is not as interesting, but it's probably better for the competitive side of the game, right?
Yeah, I mean, it means the better team will win more often, which is good, but has its negatives. I think one thing that it does is it changes the jungle pool.
Yeah, of
You
course.
can play a non-ganking jungler now. You can play Udyr.
You might actually be able to
Maybe not the best idea.
play a lot of 𝘁𝗏𝗏 now.
I think the problem with 𝘁𝗏𝗏 is that she's still way too cheesy. You just go AP.
I think you can just play
Yulwei?
AD Bruiser 𝘁𝗏𝗏. If you're actually able to farm the jungle and get a lot of drakes, she gets tanky, and she's a mid-game monster.
That's true.
But yeah, we shouldn't talk about
I
single
haven't-
champs too much. I think before seeing them in competitive.
No. We won't talk about it too much, but I mean a bit of speculation.
I'd say another change that is very interesting to me, especially after playing bot lane a few games yesterday, crit changes. I think this will actually change the ADC meta a lot, and my early candidate for being slightly overpowered definitely is Caitlyn, with the new
Right.
Stormrazor. Stormrazor rush on Caitlyn is obnoxious to deal with. She has a lot of stats. She can slow you for 75%, which is very, very annoying, with her traps setting up another headshot, and then that's a lot of early game damage. I got crit by a Caitlyn with 25% crit 3 times yesterday to die. Not cool,
Oh,
not
wow.
cool. But yeah, and do you know what the most important or the most impactful change about Stormrazor is now?
You can build it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's annoying. It's like our cast only had so many narratives that we go back
Our
to.
cast
We
is
can't
actually
go back
done.
to
Our cast is actually done.
Yeah, we're done. We're retiring.
Oh god.
We can't do the everyday 𝘁𝗶𝗃𝗀 check-in anymore because Stormrazor's fine.
Yep, Stormrazor is now a good item on 𝘁𝗁. It hurts to say. It hurts to say.
Yeah, so another item thing to comment. I don't think it's the most influential thing, but I want to get your view on it because you actually play the role. What do you think about the new
Oh man, they are so bad. They are so
I don't play
insanely
supports.
bad. Wow.
Really?
Yeah, the AP item is just garbage. Never go AP item. If you're traditional, not mage. If you're an enchanter support, just don't bother with the AP item. Like,
Really? It's that
it doesn't
bad?
give you mana rec anymore. It doesn't give you CDR
Yeah,
anymore.
I just read the patch note that you don't get mana
Yeah.
regen. That's absurd.
You don't get mana rec, you don't get AP. Or you get AP, but you don't get CDR anymore. So the only benefit of
And
this
you
item...
don't even you only get 8 AP now. That's absurd.
Yeah,
What the hell?
I mean it gets up to 60, but this item was not about AP for most enchanting supports. I mean AP is nice to have, but the Relic Shield gives you life, HP, and a little bit of AP as well. I think 30 in the last stage, so it's only a 30 AP loss, and 40 even.
40
Wow.
on Bulwark.
Yeah, so you actually only lose 20 AP, and the quest is so much easier to fulfill, and it gives you pushing power as well. So why won't you go Relic Shield every game? You get the quest more quickly, you have better stats, you get or even stats. I mean, HP is never bad for an enchanting support. If you're Yuumi, you're crying with this patch because you can't avoid building HP now. But whatever, no one.
Good.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I'm a Nami and Lulu player, right? And why?
Right. Yeah, that's harsh.
I can just go with the relic shield now. Because why would I bother going for the AP item, which is way harder to get the gold off, right? I have to actually try to lane and get advantages in the lane, and then I don't even get more gold than the enemy. That was the biggest benefit of the old blue item, and they cut 7 gold per
Yeah.
stack. So you only get 15 gold, and 15 gold does not give you the same amount of gold as if you lasted the cannon minion all the time. So just go relic shield until they fix this item. This item is just bad. It's really bad.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I haven't played with them, but I'm just reading the actual numbers on the patch notes now, and that's
Yeah, it lost all
not
the
good at
benefits
all.
for the enchanters. I think it's probably still
Yeah.
better for mages, because most mages can proc it more easily, right? But if you play Lulu, don't
Yeah.
ever go this item. It's way too hard to get the gold. You don't get mana rack, which was the most important stat on the item, not the AP. You needed mana to get through lane. You don't get the mana anyway, so just don't bother.
hmm Yep. Other notable changes, I'm intentionally leaving the dragons to last, because obviously that's the most visually impactful and I think one of the most impactful changes. How much do you think the Rift Herald changes are going to matter? 6 minutes is really
Yeah.
early for a Rift Herald.
Incentivizes farming junglers even more. And Rakan is very loud today.
Yeah, sorry about that. I will apologize. He gets very jealous if I'm talking to other people.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we have very important early game jungle objectives. So this incentivizes fast clear, a strong 1v1, strong farming junglers even more, right? So if you have any
Yeah,
jungler that can solo the Rift Herald quickly at 6 minutes, you will just go for it. Why not? I think it's even fair to
yeah.
trade first Rift Herald for Dragon most of the time, especially with the
Who depends on the dragon?
yeah, not
But
for Ocean,
yeah,
but Ocean will get nerfed in the next patch, so it doesn't matter too much.
fair enough. It
I
won't.
think it's fair to
It's
trade it for every
yeah,
other dragon, especially with Infernal losing half of its stats. 5% really isn't that much. So,
yeah. I agree.
yeah. I think Rift Herald will probably be adjusted a little bit. I think it's a little too snowbally right now, especially with the platings. Imagine getting a 6 minute Rift Herald or 7 minute Rift Herald and then snowballing your top laner 3, 4 platings. Wow, that's
I,
brutal.
I mean, the play pattern. As I said, I've been jungling a lot when I've been playing on this preseason patch, and the play pattern I've had is take the 6 7 minute Rift Herald, and then get your top laner ahead, and then when it respawns, your top laner's ahead. So you just get the second one
Yeah.
because you've got top lane prio, and then you go and you know take the mid tower with your ADC that's rotated in, or you just snowball your top laner more. It's just pretty free.
Yeah.
It's pretty
If
ridiculous.
Rift Herald is actually too strong and competitive, we might see a brief matter of lane swaps.
Maybe
Not
it's
super
possible.
early lane swaps because of the bulwark getting stronger, right? The protection, oh, that's for every lane, so maybe even the early lane swaps.
Yeah,
I'd say 4 minute lane swaps to set up the first Rift Herald and then just snowball top side, where your bottom lane is actually at.
yeah, that makes sense. Um, I don't think there's too many other super influential things. There's a few things. Obviously, there's new bushes and stuff, but we don't need to talk about that in particular. New items. I think the most influential item change, at least in my opinion, because thank God, is Shojin's
Oh
coming.
yeah. Trojan is back with
Thank
the
God.
soul, right? What soul? The Cloud Soul? That's what Trojan
Uh,
does?
Cloud Soul gives you, I think it's
Yeah, I think it's
yeah,
Cloud.
Shojin.
Yeah, I think Cloud Soul is Trojan.
Um, no, it's not. It's just movement speed after ultimate.
All right. Okay. I think they wanted to add the Trojan effect on. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Right.
think everyone said, please don't do
Nah.
that. I mean, I think at the moment Ocean is the clearly best dragon. We can move into dragon now. if we want.
Yeah,
got
last
anything
quick
else
point on
specifically
items. I
comment?
think the lethality items need some adjustment. They are not balanced right now, but I mean it's preseason, so
It's
yeah,
preseason. Things being OP is
yeah.
expected.
I think the direction for the items is okay. Sanguine Blade is probably too strong. I think the Vision Deny item is ridiculously OP, especially on lethality supports and junglers.
Lethality supports. You can just say Pike.
Pike and Senna, right?
Or
Senna,
and
yeah,
Senna,
my
true.
duo.
Senna is a
My duo love
lethality.
those two champs, so I have to play bot lane now instead of playing support, and I get a lethality support every game. So
Yeah.
this item is broken. It's broken. It has the old ward passive from
It has the old
Duskblade, but it
Duskblade
doesn't have
passive.
a
Yeah.
cooldown. You just get it all the time. That is
Yeah, that's
bonkers.
ridiculous. It's actually
Yeah,
absurd.
that is more vision.
I haven't built it yet. I haven't built it yet because I've been playing Echo. But I know he's not strong at the moment. But can you imagine being 𝘀𝗀𝗰𝗀𝗀 with that? You can't see him coming.
Yeah, this item is not okay. It needs to get nerfed. Either you remove the passive
Absolutely.
altogether, or just add a cooldown, because this is absurd amounts of vision denial, and you don't even have to bother hitting the ward 4 times or 3 times. You one-shot the ward. That's actually way better than it sounds, because you don't need any time to clear wards. Usually, if you're lethality support, a Pike or a Senna, you need a lot of time to clear wards because your auto attacks are very
Especially
slow.
Senna.
Yeah, especially Senna. Now you just need to auto attack once and the ward is gone, and you can do that with every ward. It's
Well, I
ridiculous.
think does Senna? I don't think Senna can because she's ranged. Isn't it melees only? Oh no, it's basic
No.
attacks at all. It's just
Yeah.
basic attacks. What?
I think it was
Oh,
melee only
ridiculous.
on Duskblade, but
Yeah, on Duskblade it was.
it's not
Yeah,
anymore.
that's why I assumed.
They
But they've worded it sneakily. It's deal triple damage to wards. You still have to hit control wards twice.
great,
But
great warding.
but you'd one shot totem wards.
Yeah.
All right, thanks. Just say you have to hit control wards twice, man.
Yeah, this item needs to get
Um,
nerfed, but everything else about lethality is
yeah.
fine. I think Sanguine Blade is a little bit too strong. I think the new Blade Edge of Night is a little weak. Needs to get some extra
Yeah.
stats, in my opinion. But yeah,
Yeah, I agree. 40 seconds is a really long time, and you just get it poked off you. I think the idea of the items are okay, though. I think they need some tuning,
Yeah.
but that's what preseason's
Yeah,
for.
I agree.
So.
last
But anyway,
yeah, I think the last
Oh, sorry, go
last
ahead.
thing before dragons finally hit are the new keystones.
yep. Omnistone is so bad.
Oh god.
It's so bad.
Offseason. Why, Ryan? Why? Just create a
don't
useful
understand.
new
Getting rid
rune,
of
please. What is
Getting rid of
this?
𝘁𝗏𝗀, 10 out of 10. 10
No,
out
I
of
loved
10.
I loved Lepto. It was a lot of fun to play.
Get out. It was a lot of fun to play. It wasn't fun to play against. And it might mean we stop seeing Kennen.
That's
No, he
actually
probably
great.
won't.
That's actually a great change. What am I playing Kayle with now? Not Omnistone, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, yeah, definitely not Omnistone. I don't think there's even a way you can rework it. I think the only way to rework it is you get, like, the keystones of your secondary tree or something.
Just remove it.
don't know.
What is the purpose of this
Or
rune?
just remove. That's my big thing, is, like, I don't think you can fix
No.
it. I think you just get rid of it and just make something else.
Make something else utility based. Like let your champ create a shield or something. Why not?
Yeah.
Like something just purely based on utility. You have a very cool utility rune so far. Glacial is a very cool niche rune. You have the spell.
Glacial's a bit strong.
Yeah, maybe a little strong, but it's still a cool rune and it's impactful. And then you get the summoner spell change. I forgot the name.
Yeah, that's really.
Yeah, right. That's a very cool and convenient rune as well. Just create something like that.
For the champions.
No
Yeah, I
𝘀𝗰𝗋𝗀𝗀
completely agree.
shit rune no one wants to use. Why?
Omnistone. If Omnistone makes it to live, like post preseason, I genuinely think we will go the entire competitive season without it ever being.
Maybe G2 can play it against Excel or something. 5 Omni
Yeah,
Stones and still
okay.
win the game. That would actually be.
In a game that matters, and outside OCE, because OCE probably think it's really strong.
Oh god.
Because we're not smart. But anyway, let's move on to Dragon. Obviously, there has been pretty significant changes. All four of the dragons have been changed to give different buffs. So, in your opinion, I mean, let's be honest, that the ocean dragons are strongest. There's no point.
Yeah.
Ocean's ridiculous.
Ocean, why?
Um,
The funny thing about
it-
Ocean is that this effect was initially the effect of Ocean and had to be tuned down because it was ridiculously OP, and now they re-added it. Um, not sure why. Ocean was good as it was. Maybe adjust the numbers a little bit, but still the effect was still useful, right?
yeah.
Really don't quite understand what the purpose of the new Ocean was, or the design goal, as Wright likes to say. What do you think about the Mountain Drake, the new Mountain Drake buff?
So, see, this is where I'm going to bring up my main gripe with the whole system. You should be able to see what the main Drake is going to be in Champion Select. Because if you see that it's Mountain, you can pick tanks.
Yeah, that's fair.
You can pick
And
tanks
tank shredding
focus around the
champions.
dragon. Yeah, exactly. This is my main. I like the new dragons. I think they add like some nice variety, some nice flavor to the game. Like they look really good. The Rift
Yeah,
looks
the Rift looks pretty cool.
very, very good. Which is like obviously we focus on the competitive aspect of the game, but I do think the aesthetic value is worth quite a bit. But you have to be able to see it in Champ Select. It was already bad that you couldn't see what first Drake was going to be in Champ Select. That was already bad because it just added too much RNG, and I don't like when games have too much RNG in them. It just makes them less competitive.
Yeah,
So why are they adding more? A little bit's fine. A little bit, you need a little bit, otherwise every game plays out the same.
yeah.
But
I've
this
not
is
completely
not
thought about
good.
the change in the competitive aspect. I think it might be less of a problem than you imagine to be now, because
I mean, I hope it's less than
especially
I think it is.
if all the dragons end up in a very balanced state, then it just
I
might
just think
be good to get dragons anyway.
I think it will be good to get dragons anyway. I don't think that's the issue. I just think that it impacts certain champions so much more.
It does,
Like,
it does.
can you, like, does Rengar ever see competitive play again? What if you get an Infernal and then you just lost 20% of your
Yeah,
power?
that's true.
Well, that's an exaggeration, but you lose significant power just because of something you can't control. I mean, someone else it affects is Kiana. She gets so many more bushes. Like
It's
obviously
so
not her
many
strongest
more
element, but it
worlds
does
as
affect
well.
her. And so, yeah, I mean, that's the big thing. I feel like it's such a simple change. Like, what is the downside of putting the Major Drake in Champ Select, is my question.
So you just want to see the third dragon.
All it can do. I just want to see the
Okay,
Major
okay.
Drake that the Dragon Soul will be.
Hmm.
That's my big gripe. I'd like it if you could see both First and Dragon Soul, but if they don't want to show First, because I mean, last season was good and you couldn't see First Drake in that, so whatever. It's not going to be the biggest thing ever. I think the Dragon Soul really, really matters, and the map change, especially, even if you never get the Dragon Soul because it's hard to get, the map change matters enough that I feel like how can you not show that? What's the downside?
Yeah, I think showing the third dragon would be a good option, especially for champs like
Yeah.
Rengar and who else is profiting a lot. All the ambush champions with the brushes and the Ocean Rift. I think this change will be interesting, but not super impactful for competitive play. if you look at most of the games that were snowballed through dragons this season, and this season dragons actually were a little bit stronger than they are right now on live, if you don't count the Dragon Soul. There were still teams playing against 3 Infernal Drakes and able to win team fights. I think dragons, especially non-mountain drakes, were overrated a lot of times last season.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's my biggest. Just to explain my gripe, it's not necessarily the power level. It's that you are adding unpredictable RNG for no
Yeah,
reason.
yeah. I agree with that. I agree with that.
That's what I don't like. I don't like the mentality of that. You should just show it. There's no downside. But anyway, moving on from my gripes. Do you have a favorite new Rift? Whether it's just from an aesthetic point of view or the gameplay it's encouraged?
So sadly, I've not been able to experience all the rifts because EOS just didn't want to work yesterday. But
yeah, at least you got to play Pokemon.
yeah, I only saw Mountain and Ocean in game. I think from just looking at how the game looks, I liked Ocean a little bit more. And from streams I watched, I thought the Infernal Rift looked very cool as well. So I'd say Ocean and Infernal are my 2 favorite rifts right now.
Yeah. I really like
Ocean. Ocean is very good. Ocean.
Ocean's very, very pretty. I also kind of like that because of the puddles in the jungle. I run water walking on a lot of jungles. So you get a little
Yeah, it actually counts as a river. It's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it counts as river for. It's like literally only for 𝘁𝗏 and water walking. It's the only things that matter. But you know, it's cool.
Yeah, a lot of people run water walking. A lot of supports as well. A lot of roaming supports like to go water walking as well. Water walking.
Yep.
So yeah, actually an interesting change.
Yeah, I think
Other new.
I think the ones that will be impactful. I think Cloud will be impactful as a Rift, just because of the speed boost zones.
Cloud? I'm not quite sure what Cloud actually does for you. If you have Cloud.
Well, it adds the speed.
Yeah, I know what it technically does, but I'm not sure what it does in game. What it changes.
Makes you roams fast.
Roams?
Throw
Okay.
people's timing.
Maybe you can rotate between turrets very fast as well in the later stages of the game. Yeah, I think probably rotations can be enhanced with the Cloud Rift.
Yep.
But most importantly, the
very
souls. What are the best souls so far? So we have.
I mean, let's ignore Ocean.
What is Ocean Soul like? Ocean Soul is just a burst of HP, Regan, right?
It's a lot, though. It's a lot. It's when you hit someone,
Yeah.
you get a massive burst of health. It's really strong.
I
mean, if we want to talk about them, assuming they get balanced, right? Which one do we think is best if the numbers are fair? Because at the moment the numbers are pretty early. It's early doors of preseason. I think it's interesting because they benefit distinctly different types of champions, right? Like, if you're an ADC, you don't really care about Mountain Soul that much.
Oh,
Like, if you're
what?
gonna die, you're
You
still
think so?
gonna die?
I think for ADCs, Mountain
like
Soul
if
is
you-
insanely strong.
Really?
It's a free shield.
I feel like if you get... Yeah, but if you get caught, you're
I mean,
caught.
that's true for every soul though. You shouldn't get caught, but your teamfight
Yeah.
advantage with the mountain soul is ridiculous. If all your teammates have shields entering the next team fight, how is the enemy actually killing you? It's I think Mountain is an early.
Yeah, I mean...
I think Mountain looks very, very strong, especially for competitive. I'm not sure if it's the strongest.
I mean, your team having the shield as an ADC makes you happy, but I think the shield on you doesn't really matter because if they get to you, they're killing you.
I think shield items on ADCs have a lot of value right now in competitive as well, right? A lot of people build the Phantom Dancer. People like to go Bloodthirster, 4th item as well for extra added safety. So a 300-400 shield can actually change a lot in a fight, especially if you have lifesteal.
I mean, this being said, is none of them are bad. It's still, like, I'm not saying it's not good. It is good, but is it better than...
I think it's better than Infernal. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. This is my philosophy on a lot of things in League. I think most of the time it's better to get a free um, something free that you can't achieve than to get something you can actually achieve, just more of it for free. So Infernal for ADCs basically means you get a little bit more damage, right? But you have a lot of damage as ADC anyway, but you can't build defensive items.
True.
So Mountain Dragon actually lets you go for purely offensive items while still getting the benefits of an added Bloodthirst or something, so or a Phantom Dancer.
Yeah.
So I like those interactions a little bit more. I think it's stronger for the overall champion, because especially if you look at late game crit 80s carries, think about 𝘬𝗊 and how fast 𝘬𝗊 can kill enemies. She doesn't need extra damage. The extra damage will not do anything for her. If you think 𝘬𝗊 can maybe 4-shot an enemy, let's say jungler, so average melee champion, 4-shot him in the late game. I don't think she can 3-shot him with Infernal Drake. And even if she can, it's only a
Yeah, I
loss
think
of,
you're right.
let's say, 0.7 seconds. So I actually think, yeah.
Yeah, you've brought me round on it. I think the only exception is 𝘁𝗏𝗃's looking at that Cloud Soul pretty
Cloud Soul
healthy.
is very strong as well.
Massive. Yeah, I don't think Cloud Soul's that great for most ADCs. Let's be honest. What ADC has a really impactful ult that's not named 𝘁𝗏𝗃?
Yeah, that's fair.
Um, but it is also a really good soul for everyone
Yeah.
else. We're only talking about ADCs. Most other champions do want to play make with their ult. So Cloud Soul is very, very strong. Obviously, getting a huge... I mean, realistically, in a team fight, everyone ults, so your team just basically gets 30% movement speed for 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Like...
I think Cloud Soul is very good for split pushing teams as well, right? You can't ever get caught. You just ult and run away. So everyone gets to
How
be Rakan.
obnoxious is that going to be? That's going to be so
Yeah.
obnoxious on a split pushing Jace.
Oh my god.
He just presses R and he's gone.
That's disgusting. So yeah, all the buffs seem to do something very similar in terms of what they actually do for the game. So
Yeah.
Mountain gives you an insane teamfight advantage and safety. Also objective control. With Mountain, you can just straight up go for Baron, even if you don't have a tank, because
Yeah,
everyone
you
can
can
tank
tank
it.
him.
Then
Yeah.
we have Infernal, extra teamfight damage, a lot of poke. I think Infernal will be strongest on control mages like 𝘀𝗀𝗃, like Brand. Imagine Brand or Zyra support with Infernal Dragon. Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully it comes in late enough in the game to not be in laning phase.
Oh yeah.
Because screw that. If you could have that in laning phase, that's a GG.
By the way, just a quick heads up,
no big
don't ever build Death Dance against Infernal Soul. You'll actually kill yourself.
They
Yeah,
fixed
they
that.
fixed it? Okay.
It was patched
Nice.
out. It was patched out today. Because yeah, that's how that worked. You kept triggering it, and you died. It wasn't just Death Dance, I think. Oh no, it
Yeah, I
was.
think it was Death Dance.
You could also infinitely proc Airy
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's cool as well.
with the same thing. Which is just
So we've not really touched on
Thankfully
Ocean
that
Soul
has
so
been-
far. I'm not too sure what to make of Ocean Soul. It will make
mean-
sieging teams unbearable, right?
I mean, at the moment, it's very strong because it's just the numbers are a bit ridiculous. You sort of just, as you said, you'll be sieging and they'll kind of poke onto you, and then you poke them and you just fall health.
It's kind of the old Baron buff, right? The season
much.
4 Baron buff. I think so. Season 5 was when the Baron buff got
Yeah.
changed. Yeah, so
Yeah, I think season 4's right.
yeah, a lot of health regen, and you could poke forever. So the old Baron was a lot about sieging turrets and just overpower the enemy with ridiculous amounts of health, because he would regen everything up. A full poke team is probably actually unbeatable with Ocean Soul. I can't really see a way you win the game after the poke team.
You'd have to have some absurdly hard engage.
Yeah,
But if you have absurdly hard engage, how did you lose that many dragons
that's true.
and not lose the game? So
Yeah, this is another point going towards your suggestion, because why would you ever pick full poke comp if not if you can't see the dragon, right? Yeah, it actually gives you more
yeah,
strategic options. So I'm more leaning towards your proposal as well.
exactly. It's like my big thing is that if anyone in the community, and I put this out, if anyone can tell me a downside to showing it, a real downside, other than surprises are fun, which is terrible, which is just not reasoning for a competitive game. Great for solo queue, sure. If bronze solo queue, sure they love it. um, my teammates have loved it. But in terms of a competitive game, it's just not
So
realistic.
the
It's
only
just
point I could come up with spontaneously would be, especially imagine something like ocean shows or mountain, whatever, and both teams know what the perfect comp is for this situation, and it's just an arms race. So you actually get to see, let's say, ocean, and both teams just try to pick all the poke champs, and then next game will be mountain, and all teams just try to pick the strongest tanks.
I mean, that comes down to balancing the Drakes,
Yeah,
though.
that's true. But
Um,
it might.
and also kind of balancing the
Yeah.
game. Because but you are right, that is potential. You could have a situation where it's ocean, everyone tries to pick that. But you could also have a situation where you go, oh, well, they have draft advantage because they have red side, so they get 2 picks on the big poke champs. We'll draft hard engage, and yeah, the soul's not as good for us, but they don't
Yeah.
get it. We'll fight the dragons. And I think that actually brings in some tactical fun in the draft.
It would actually
'Cause
change.
you don't. It's not like you spawn in with the dragon soul.
Yeah,
You do have
it's
to
true.
get
It's
it.
true. Yeah, it would actually change a lot, though. So I guess they'll not never show the dragons, because just thinking about this change, I think it's too much of a change in terms of what is important in a draft. And imagine if Worlds actually revolves around what Dragon RNG is. And imagine one of the teams, let's say the fan favorite from China, RNG, plays against a Western team or a Korean team. And RNG is known for being very good at Mountain Drakes and, let's say, Infernal Drakes, so the 2 big team fighting dragons, because they are a Chinese team and a team fighting team. And then the whole series goes by with not a single Mountain or Infernal Drake.
Okay, but the not showing them in champion select is not the issue there. The Drakes are the issue. Because that could still happen though, right?
Could still
you could
happen,
still
yeah.
be that Chinese team and they draft the team fight comp not because they see the Drake, but just because they're a Chinese team. They're gonna draft a team fight comp and then it's Ocean 5 times.
That's true.
Still
It's
happen.
true. But it might be
That would,
less.
in my opinion, that would be even worse because then you're sitting there going, "We got RNG'd out. We didn't even have time.
Okay.
We didn't have
Yeah.
a chance to change our comp."
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I think the game is in a position where you could see the Dragon Soul and just go, "We're gonna win before it matters.
Yeah, it's true.
We're just gonna be so far ahead at 25 minutes or whatever. Doesn't matter. We can pick."
Yeah,
our
I actually agree with you. I have to say, if we ever get to see the dragons, I really want to become a coach, because I think the draft around dragon would be so insanely fun, and would have so
agree.
many options to draft a cool composition, so many counters, so many interesting niche picks, only really viable with this certain dragon. We might actually enter
Yeah,
an even
I think
more
it's really cool.
diverse League of Legends, but it's on it's on a very, very small balance. It's a very, very what's the right word? Very delicate balancing act, because we could also end up with a
I don't know, a bit
very
of a nice edge.
stale matter, in my opinion. So I think we
Yeah, it really does depend how often the Dragon Soul
Yeah.
is relevant,
Yeah.
in my opinion. Because if the Dragon Soul's if it's like Elder Dragon, like, how often really does Elder decide?
I don't think it's like Elder.
Normally, it might, well, I think it could be, depending on the balancing. It could end up being something like Elder, which is, Elder doesn't typically decide a game, it's just the tool that the team that's winning uses to knock the last nail in. I think Dragon Soul could end up being like that. I don't think it is at the moment, but I think it could end up being like that. And then dragons don't really change the meta. But if the Dragon Soul doesn't end up being like that, then you run the risk of it being the stale. We have to pick a team that can fight around Dragon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
I really want to see one team get 4 drakes of the same kind in a game. That would be super fun.
Pretty funny.
4 mountain drakes, you just end up with 400 armor and MR on your tank. What the?
Yeah, you just walk under the towers. Don't care. Stand there as an ADC, just hitting a tower with minions.
What do you think of Elder Dragon? Just to quickly wrap up the preseason discussion.
I mean, I haven't gotten to it in the game.
Me neither.
I'm yet to see it. So I don't really know. I think the execute is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, I think it's not as strong as everyone makes it out to be. It's definitely a strong tool, especially against tanky opposition, but yeah, I think it's probably fair. I don't really know if it's stronger than the old Elder Dragon, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I think Elder Dragon is still just a game ender.
Especially this. Does the second Elder actually do something different than the first? No, right?
I don't think so.
They actually removed that. So they kind of think that Elder Dragon overall will be stronger than the first Elder Dragon, and this Elder Dragon buff will suffice to end the game. So.
Yeah, you've also, the one thing that also matters is that it's the change of the spawn is different. It's not just after 35 minutes.
After 4 dragons.
It's specifically, it's specifically 6 minutes after a team kills 4 dragons. One team kills 4 dragons. So it could potentially be the 9th dragon to spawn.
Yeah, I really like that they removed the snowball mechanic on Elder Dragon, cause imagine if the Dragon Soul and the snowball mechanic would still be there. That would be ridiculous.
Yeah, that would be very, very... That would just mean come back.
Yeah, they could just hand over the win to the 4 Dragon team at that point, to be honest. Yeah, you could pretty much just FF. But yeah, I mean, do we have any other comments to make on the Dragon, or do we want to move on to our next segment? Yeah, I think we'll come back to the preseason changes, especially after playing a little bit more, and maybe watching the first preseason tournament, probably something in Asia or All-Stars for some competitive experience. Yeah.
I mean, I wonder what patch VCS
Yeah, it's an interesting question.
Are they playing on live?
That would be interesting. I don't really.
I mean, I'd be down.
I'd imagine they still play on 922.
I mean, the thing is it's really hard to practice on 922. Especially if you're a VCSB level team. You might not have perfect scrim and tournament rounds.
They might actually play on live, so maybe we're lucky and get to cast them on live. That would be super fun.
Yeah, I hope they're on live because it'd be fun. But anyway, we're going to move on to the other part of preseason. Of course, it's not just the game that changes. It is everything around it, and the teams will all be changing. There are a lot of roster moves to talk about. Some of them we will put more focus on than others. No, we will talk about NA because a lot's going on. NA really taking sort of... I think they are a little bit sick of being...
Yeah, I think so too.
Which is good. About time. I'm glad that the recent failures, I don't think there's a nicer way to put it, the recent failures have kind of put a rocket up their ass and said, hey, you want to be a major region? Better play like one. So yeah, I think it's really good. I want to comment, because I've heard people kind of dissing the new system where they can bring in, you know, Oceanic and Turkish and players and stuff, and it's a little bit less restrictive with imports. I think it's purely a good system.
Yeah, I like the change as well.
It it gives the minor region players something to work towards, so they want to play really hard, and it reminds the washed up North American Academy pros that are still playing in the scouting grounds, even though they've already been to the LCS and failed more than once. Get out. If you've done that, get out. I have no tolerance for it. But it reminds those people, you're going to get out of... You get better, or get out of the scene, because some Australian's going to take you...
Does it actually work for pros that are already in NA before the system changes? So people like 𝘀𝗀𝗵𝗏? Is he is he not taking an import slot now? Or does he still take an import slot? Because he's Turkish...
I think it depends. I think it depends how long they've been.
1 year, right?
It's more than
No,
one.
no, I think he
oh, wait, because, yeah. Would imagine so?
hopefully, right? It would be very unfair to TSM to say,
Yeah.
oh, you were a little early, sorry. You actually have to deal with an
Yeah, I would
import slot
imagine.
now.
I would imagine the way it works is, if you're a non-resident, you are classed by what region you would be if you were playing in your native region. So 𝘀𝗀𝗵𝗏 would be a TCL import, even though he didn't play in the TCL since a while ago. So
Yeah, he still has Turkish residency, so
he'll still.
I think.
Yeah, exactly. So I think he'll have the same.
I hope
applied.
so.
Would be
I'd hope so,
really
yeah.
Unfair otherwise.
So let's get started with the
Same with
teams.
someone like
Oh yeah,
FBI.
FBI as well, and Lost as well, right? All these 𝘀𝐶 players
Yeah.
already over there. Oh, FBI, he actually gets to be a very good bot lane, because they are now counting as NA residents. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. So I'm not sure how to do this. Well, we just quickly run through all the teams and then maybe stack rank what team we think won the off-season with the rosters for NA.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the way to do it. One thing I will say for NA is let's ignore Liquid, because Liquid is already the best team and they just got a little bit better. So
Oh,
when
you
we
think
rank
so?
them,
Interesting.
Yeah, well, I mean, they were already the best team and they upgraded. Some people disagree whether it was an upgrade, but I think most of the consensus is that they're an upgrade. So if the best team only upgraded, they're probably still first. But anyway, if you don't think that's fair, then fine. Leave them in it. It's all good.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's an upgrade,
we
a
can
straight
talk about
upgrade. I think it's a potential upgrade.
it's
I
more
think it will probably hurt them in
it's
Spring
a
Split.
bit of a side
Yeah.
grade. Yeah, while they're working on the city.
Might help them in the long run, but I think might actually cost them the Spring Split championship, especially with this stacked league. Well, we'll have to see. We'll have to see.
Well, let's start in North
Yeah.
America.
Second place
This
team
is
first.
well, I'm just running
Yeah,
down a
go
list
ahead.
that we've got in our little chat here, and this is not exhaustive. There's a lot of roster moves going on, so the list that we wrote already outdated.
Probably.
So we'll have to top it up with a few others that we've missed. But Cloud9 got Vulcan, 𝘀𝗏𝗏𝗏, and 𝘀𝗏. TSM has picked up Bifrost, and though they haven't announced it, they're getting 𝘁𝗶𝗁𝗀, obviously. CLG has 𝘀𝗶𝗏𝗏. GGS has picked up
Oh,
Golden
CLG
Blue,
has also
FlyQuest.
picked up Crown.
Oh, that's true. That has been
Yeah.
confirmed. So they got Crown for the mid lane as well. That's a big
That's
one as well.
I mean, they side graded mid lane, but at least they got another good mid laner.
Yeah. GGS got Golden Glue.
And also
FlyQuest
closer
picked up
from the TCL, just confirmed today as well.
Yep. Yeah. If the list is missing any, just jump in. Obviously. Ignar has gone to FlyQuest. Broxer has gone to TL. 𝘀cie𝗰𝗶𝗶𝗀 on IMT. Dignitas, obviously formerly 𝘀liche, picked up Johnson. And that's what our list is. I think there's a bunch more.
Yeah, I think there was
So have to open up.
there was a lot confirmed for the other new team, EG, right? Yeah, you completely missed out on EG.
Yeah,
EG
EG.
picked up 𝘀𝗃𝗏 and 𝘁𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏, as well as where's my list at? They picked up some more players.
And
Yeah,
Bang.
Bang as
They
well,
got
right?
Bang.
And someone picked up Soars allegedly.
Allegedly, I don't know about that. That was IMT. That was
Oh yeah, right.
Immortals. They got 𝘀𝗶𝗶𝗀𝗀𝗀, 𝘁𝗃, and
Yeah, that's right.
𝗁𝗁.
And 100 Thieves got Meteors and also promoted someday back to first squad. They're still looking for a mid laner and a support.
Were
Right.
they also are potentially looking for an ADC. There's talk about
Oh
𝘀𝗃𝗃
yeah,
going to
right.
100 Thieves.
Yeah, that makes
Because he's a
sense.
resident. Like, some people, it's interesting, because Reddit likes to bash 𝘀𝗃𝗃, call him just a cosplayer and whatever. But with the exception of Double Lift, who's a better resident ADC than 𝘀𝗃𝗃?
𝘀𝗃, I think 𝘀𝗃 definitely is better.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Maybe
But
Deftly, I'm not sure.
Being the second-ish, like, equal second maybe, best non-double lift resident,
Yeah,
still pretty good.
yeah, especially if you have very strong solo
If you're looking for
laners, I
domestic
think, yeah.
success. Yeah, exactly. So
We don't know too much about IMT
I
if
think
I'm
that's fine.
looking at the right.
I mean, we know 3 members.
Those are.
If the rumors are true, well, they're 𝘁𝗀𝗀, 𝘁𝗃,
Oh
and
yeah,
𝗁𝗁.
right. Okay, yeah. So they are still missing a
That's
mid
3.
laner. They could go for Froggen
Yeah.
or for Power of Evil, who still float around and have not
Yep.
gotten to a team. Who would you pick up of those two, or would you look for something with someone different?
I mean, Power of Evil's kind of a known quantity at this point. It depends. Like, I don't really know the NA scene outside of the LCS super well. I don't know if there's some prodigy in the academy scene they could
Yeah.
pick up.
I think
I'm not really
Froggen
sure.
actually works better for
Something
their team, to be honest.
I agree. I think I'd pick
Yeah,
up
they need
Froggen.
a hard carry. They have a very solid top laner in Source. They have a very solid ADC in 𝘁𝗃. If they pick up Power of Evil, who's another very solid player, they kind of lack the hard carry player. So I'd rather
Yeah, they don't
see
have an X
them
factor.
getting Froggen, even though I'm not sure if Froggen and Source can clash. That's... Who knows, who
We'll
knows?
see. Something to comment on, this is a little bit just broader esports, is that if EG comes into the NALCS and does well, that org is suddenly doing ridiculously well. They have one of the best CS teams in the world at the moment.
Oh, right,
out
yeah.
of nowhere.
I imagine.
Yeah, they literally just re-entered the CS scene after being absent for like 8 years or something. Like, I don't think they ever fielded a particularly good CSGO team. They had good teams in previous CSs, but they didn't have a particularly good Go team. And now they're like, I think they're 3rd in the world at the moment, and they were 1st.
Yeah, so good.
It's
Very
ridiculous.
good.
So if they come storming into the LCS as well, EG's back, boys.
Apparently.
And I'm hyped for that. I love EG.
What roster are you most excited for?
100 Thieves.
Really?
I
Interesting.
really like the
So
100
we've
Thieves lineup. 'Cause they've got 𝘁𝗶𝗶 as well.
𝘧𝗃 as a coach.
I'm biased. I will admit that I'm biased. I'm fully 100 Thieves fan
But who's
now.
their bot lane?
We don't know yet, do we? Because we don't know their ADC. 𝘀𝗃𝗃's the rumor, but it's a very loose rumor.
Their mid lane has not been confirmed either, right? Or was it?
As far, I don't think it was.
Oh, I think so. I think so.
Oh,
Roma,
hang on.
I think, is the mid laner.
Oh, hang on a second. If you go to the ESPN
Yeah.
article, sorry, it's a little bit of tech here. If you look up the top, you can jump the starting rosters. That makes it a lot easier to read. 100 Thieves is someday amazing. Ryu and Afro is the current team. It's gonna change.
Yeah, they already confirmed Meteors as a jungler, so that's outdated already.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I read
yeah,
something about 𝘁𝗀𝗋,
but-
the mid laner of, I think, Mammoth? Or some OPL team, coming over to 100 Thieves.
Yeah, I think it was Mammoth. Yeah, it was Mammoth.
So that's another interesting one.
As I said, I am biased towards 100 Thieves. I literally ordered a 100 Thieves jersey about 3 days ago. Because they just bought the Renegades Counter-Strike lineup. And I got to support the boys. But they also picked up a Mammoth player. So I'm all in. I'm 100 Thieves for life.
So
now.
if they really go with Yorma as their mid laner, they actually get another import slot, right, for ADC.
Yep.
So I'd imagine they go for a Korean ADC, knowing 𝘁𝗶𝗶𝗀𝘀's contacts in Korea. They might actually look for
Yeah.
for Prey Gorilla or something. Oh no, they have Sunday. So or 𝘁𝗶𝗃𝗀𝗃 could be another option because Gorilla is a good friend of
Wait.
𝘁𝗶𝗶𝗀.
Yeah. Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, that's an interesting.
It's
Oh, Immortals
it's
confirmed 𝘀𝗃 as well, right? So is 𝘀𝗃,
yeah.
𝘁𝗃 Hakuo, and no mid
Yeah.
laner so far.
Yeah. Obviously, some of it's a mixture of rumor and actually confirmed things at the moment.
But
So
almost all the rumors so far have been confirmed later on, so I think those are very
there.
trustworthy rumors.
Yeah. The scene at the moment is about as watertight as uh, there's leaks
Yeah.
everywhere. I saw I don't remember who posted it. It was an EU player saying, "I'd love to know who." I think it was amazing. Was it amazing? Might have been. I'm not sure. Saying, "I'd love to know who's leaking to 𝘁𝗶𝗃. Players can ask him where they're going next year instead of the coach."
I like the little teasers Upset and 𝘀𝗀𝗋𝗋 did as well. They posted something like
I missed
LA
that.
weather is very nice. After announcing their
Oh,
free
right.
agency, and then like 1 week later they posted LA weather is very nice, but I stay in Europe for the next for the next year or something. That's very nice. I like it.
Yeah, I mean TSM has teased their jungler by posting a like a game show board where you have to guess the letters, so we know how many letters are in the
And
name.
how many is it?
But they didn't say. I think it was 6. I'd have to actually look at the picture, but I think it was 6.
Broxah is 6, but Broxah is confirmed. Jankos has 6 as well, but that's not happening.
Yeah, I don't know about that
At
one.
least it's not Mike Young, that's for
Um,
sure.
No, it's 7. It's 7.
Ah, okay.
So.
So yeah, let's talk about
Uh,
what team we think has won the offseason in NA. There are a lot of podcasts going over all the different rosters. So maybe just our
yeah.
own little touch. I really like the AC9 roster, I have to say. I think they
Yeah,
have great.
agree.
They almost won against Team Liquid already, purely based of mid jungle synergy. Most of it was mid jungle synergy, and now they get maybe even stronger jungler in 𝘁𝗶𝗃, who has looked very promising, especially in Worlds. 𝘁𝗶𝗃 𝘁𝗃 as the mid jungle. Licorice still very solid top laner, and Sven plus Vulcan bot lane. I think that's a straight upgrade over sneaky 𝘂𝘃. So I really like C9's roster. I think they look very strong.
Yeah, I agree. I would probably say that they were the team that has leveled up the most. The question becomes, do you think they're the strongest team? Do you think they are better than Liquid now?
Depends on meta a
It's
lot,
a
right?
big call.
We
Yeah,
still
true.
play purely mid jungle meta, and supports get a little weaker, maybe because of the new support items. I could see C9 winning the SES.
Yeah, especially in that sprint
Yeah.
split where C9's got to, where Liquid has to integrate a new
I mean,
jungler.
it's still 𝘁𝗻𝗃 as a coach, so
Um,
𝘁𝗻𝗃 is not allowed to win any titles, so maybe not.
It's true. Maybe they can bring in this hot new Korean coach I've heard of. It's like VCS or something. He's brand new on the scene. He's not anyone that we've seen before.
Or the other Korean
Uh,
coach no one has ever heard about, 𝘁𝗀, who is a free agent apparently.
yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, TSM, 𝘁𝗃 and Bifrost as a new bot lane. I like their approach as well. It still depends a lot on their jungler, right? If they can't pick up a good jungler, TSM is not competing this year, but next year, I should say. But
I mean, that's all.
𝘁𝗃 should
I
be a
mean, that's always
great
TSM,
addition
right?
to the NA meta. If you just 𝘁𝗃
Yeah, I
played in
agree.
the only EU team that was playing like NA teams, Splice, go mid all
Yeah.
the time, and he was very successful doing so. So Yeah, I think
Yeah,
TSM
that makes sense.
won, but I don't like them as much as C9. CLG's roster is interesting as well, with the acquisition of Crown. I don't think their solo lanes are strong enough to win the league, but they could definitely compete for playoffs. Rune and
Yep.
Crown.
I mean, one thing we haven't commented on is the
Oh
fee
no!
situation.
Oh no!
That much money
I don't
as your
understand.
mid laner. As your mid laner.
Yeah, I think Dignitas, Golden Guardians, and Flycrest are the three of the four non-playoff teams. They are dumpster fires. So.
Yeah. They are tonight's biggest threat.
I'm not sure who
They're not
else
looking
will
to
join them
succeed.
outside of players.
I mean, Dignitas, to be fair, Dignitas has announced 2 players.
Yeah, but there's
So,
not too many players available
really,
anymore, right? And
yeah,
who
you're not
who
wrong.
is
But
Johnson?
they'd have to. I don't know. I have no idea. Is that a coach?
So they announced 𝘀cie and Johnson. That does not really instill too much
Well, no,
faith.
they've got 𝘀𝗶𝗀𝗀𝗀. They've got 𝘀𝗶𝗀𝗀𝗀
Okay,
people.
𝘀𝗀 without Vulcan. So they need a new
Yeah,
support player, and support players are hard to find most of the time.
you're not wrong. It's definitely interesting.
𝘁𝗀, where's 𝘁𝗀 going? Maybe
Maybe.
Badit or 𝘁𝗀
Yeah.
join SS.
I haven't. I don't think. I haven't seen Ole on a lineup. So
He was on Golden Guardians, right? Yeah.
I think so.
So
Yeah.
he could join Dignitas, but even then, I think Dignitas roster is not good enough to do anything.
But yeah. Just I know NA is definitely the biggest region in terms of changes, but I'm just moving us on a little bit. If we want to make, if you've got any last point about NA before we move on to EU.
The changes will
Um,
be cute, but NA in the end will still be NA and fail internationally.
Look, if they can just get closer, right? Claw your way back, NA. You've got a long way to go, but you've got the powerhouse of OC.
Yeah, nice vacation for all the 𝘂𝐶 and TCL players. That's cool. I like it.
I mean, gotta say, if you're an OCE player, look at them NA paychecks, mate. work hard. Go get rich. But let's move over to the European scene. Who do we think? What are the moves even at this point? To go through our little list
So,
that is not perfect.
so we have Rogue
Um,
confirming their whole starting roster from last season except
Ooh.
ADC, and they signed one of the biggest prospects for ADCs, Hans Sommer. So now Rogue,
Yeah.
we will talk a little bit more about Rogue, but I already like their moves a lot. I think Rogue looks super strong. Misfits does not really have anyone confirmed so far. They have Razork and 𝘀𝘀 join, whoever those two are. I have no idea. So Misfits seems to go,
Certainly Misfits.
yeah, they seem to go with the complete opposite direction from last year and go for Misfits this time. Very fitting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe they're just trying to grow some talent, or they're going to announce some big names.
Yeah,
Who
what
knows?
better region to grow talent
Over.
than you? I like this approach.
Yeah.
We have
Yeah. I
Fnatic has only made one change in jungle, as we already heard. Broxah is joining TL, but Selfmade will come over from SK, and Fnatic made a really big roster change in the coaching stuff. 𝘀𝘀𝗋𝗋
Yeah.
got kicked, and
I know.
apparently there was an
That's
ultimatum
harsh.
between in Fnatic, either 𝘀𝘀𝗋𝗋 or Reckless, and they decided to go with Reckless. Interesting decision. And 𝘀𝘀 will be the new starting coach, or the new coach for Fnatic, which is very interesting if you think about the way 𝘀𝘀 has traditionally played and directed teams. Very conservative style, very focused on late game, especially in his days with Sven on his side, and in his G2 days especially. And Fnatic is the polar opposite of that, so far at least. They are a very aggressive, very early game focused team, so I'm interested to see what he brings to the table. I hope he doesn't get rid of all the aggression, because I think Fnatic was such a great early game team. Sadly faltered at Worlds, but whatever.
Yeah, you can't judge them based on
And
one tournament. Like, in the end, look, we saw how Fnatic happened, but they lost to a good
yeah,
team.
I mean they still
They
played
lost
like
to the
shit.
world
Though.
champion. Yeah, but they still, I mean, FPX like, apparently
Yeah,
pretty
indeed.
bad.
Everyone played like shit against FPX, and in the end, FPX won. I'm not still not sure how that happened.
Well, I mean, I don't want to go into the world finals, but did they play like shit, or does FPX just make you look like that?
Yeah,
But
well-
anyway, let's not go into that. I don't want to. I want to pretend. The world
Yeah,
finals
indeed.
happened.
Origin coming in with very
Moving
interesting
on.
roster changes as well, and coming in with another OC resident joining a big league. This time Destiny from Mammoth as well, coming in as the support. I think importing support for EU, especially importing OC supports, is a very good decision, because support is by far the weakest position in EU. And with Igna leaving, with Gorilla leaving, we got a lot of free spots, and Destiny will join together with Upset. So finally, Upset gets on a good team, and he's reunited with his buddy 𝘀cie𝗰𝗶𝗹𝘀𝘀 from 𝘁𝗲𝗃𝗃 when they made finals last year. So Upset, 𝘀𝗃𝗃, and Destiny join. So Origin's roster will be, they already announced it, so it's locked. Alphari, 𝘀𝗃𝗃,
Oh, is it?
𝘀𝗃𝗃, Upset, Destiny. Very interesting team. Finally, we have Splice blowing up. And we have SK has not yet announced anything. They lose Selfmade, but they have not found a replacement so far. We already talked about Rogue, so Axel is another interesting team, and Axel has just told us that they plan on making Worlds in the next 2 years. Okay, Axel
Cool.
picked up 𝘀𝑺 as a coach or general manager, whatever he is. I think he's manager.
That's a good
that's a very good
pickup.
pickup. And they also picked up a new bot lane. They took Patrick from Origin and 𝘁𝗃, formerly known as 𝘁𝗃. What a sad name change that is.
I hate this trend of players just giving themselves names.
Especially they're playing on the same team now. It's Patrick and 𝘁𝗃 as the bot lane together. Please, Sheriff and 𝘁𝗃 are such better names. It's so sad to see. So XL actually has a good bot lane now. They still don't really have anything else, so let's see what XL can go for. Accept was a good top laner.
Yep.
So that's all the confirmed roster moves we have so far for you.
Yep. Which one really catches your eye here? I assume Rogue. Rogue's looking.
Yes, as I talked about in the introduction, it's interesting that the approach for EU teams is very different from the NA approach. They seem to try to get one change and one upgrade to get even higher highs out of the teams. So I liked Rogue's and Fnatic's approaches a lot. I think Fnatic needs to look for a substitute support to develop. 𝘁𝗃𝗃 is a little bit too inconsistent. Maybe a substitute top laner as well. I'd really like to see Fnatic go for a 7-man roster with substitutes in top and support. But yeah, I like the Selfmade pickup. I think Fnatic will look stronger, especially with you have to consider Selfmade and Nemesis are both Slovenian, and they have played together since, I'm not sure, 14, 13 years old. Oh, Selfmade is not Slovenian. What am I talking about? Selfmade is Polish. But no, they've played on a team before. Was thinking about 𝘀𝗰𝗆𝗃 and 𝘁𝗀𝗃. But yeah, they've played on a very good team before. They won EU Masters together. I think this synergy will be very good. I'm scared of Fnatic. I think Fnatic and Rogue are the two big contenders, together with G2 obviously. Rogue was already looking like the third best team in the end of spring. They barely lost their semi-final, and they had a very bad ADC. And now they upgraded with one of the best ADCs in the regions, Hans Sommer. Hans Sommer, if you have not seen him in the last few games of the split, he played on the dumpster fire that was the Misfits roster, but he looked insanely good. He won almost every lane.
Yeah, he did.
I think Hans Sommer is one of the best ADCs in EU, and this roster looks very promising.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think they're looking very good, and it's good. We need more teams that keep pushing the top of EU. You know, there's still higher heights to hit EU. You know,
One.
come on.
One higher high.
Let's not get. Well, look, maybe this year it'll be 3-1.
Nice. It's so painful.
Oh, don't worry, I'm there with
Oh
the pain with
god.
you. It's
Yeah, I
a
think
bad
EU will
time.
be insanely fun to watch
Uh,
next season. What is your
I
opinion on
completely agree.
Origin?
The Origin lineup. I mean, I like it. Partially because I want to see OCE players succeed. I'm a little bit selfish on that one. Upsets on a good team. I'm happy, I guess. I think they're pretty good. I'm just a bit. I want to see Destiny. I know. I just said I want to see OCE players succeed, but the one big thing with OCE players is, were you a big fish in a small pond, and how are you going to do in a bigger
Yeah.
pond? Um, it's something to think about.
I really like the new
So they could
additions to
potentially.
Origin. I'm not sure if 𝘀cie_𝗰𝗶𝗹𝘀 is still the right player to start, to be honest. I'd, re- I'd,
It's a
re-
bit. He's a
yeah, I'd
bit
like to see them
outdated.
pick up maybe Leader as the secondary mid laner to have a very different look, and develop Leader into even bigger talent. He's a free agent now. No one has picked up him so far. Or Humanoid as well. Humanoid is not confirmed for any team either. So I really like to see Origin pick up,
Yeah, humanoid would
yeah,
be a
and
big
a
step.
substitute mid laner for 𝘀cie_𝗰𝗀𝘀. If he continues to struggle, maybe put in Humanoid or Leader and go with a very young, exciting lineup. 𝘀𝘶𝗆𝑒 is still a very young player. Upset is, I think, 20. 𝘀𝑐e is 2021 as well. So a very young European lineup with Destiny in. I like the idea. I don't really see
Yeah.
them competing for the title, especially in Spring Split. I think they need to build synergy first, but they could definitely compete for world spot in the second half of the season.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's okay. Like, I think if you are honest with yourself as an organization, as a team, to say we're not really competing for first this split or this year, we're building. I don't think there's
Yeah.
anything wrong with that, as long as you're honest with yourself. Um, so I think it's fine. I think it's a good roster. I want to see what they do and what they can grow into, because I think they have potential to grow into something pretty legit. Um, if they do potentially pick up someone for 𝘀cie_𝗰𝗀𝘀.
Yeah, especially if the meta shapes out
But
to be
yeah,
very bot lane focused. I think this roster has a lot of potential. We have a very solid, very good
yeah,
laning top laner that can play tank champs as well, and 𝘀𝑎fari. We have a mid laner that can play everything, supportive champs as well. He can play mages for backline. We have a very active and very smart jungler who loves to farm. So if the matter is farming jungle, 𝘀𝘀𝗃𝗃 will be one of the best junglers. And Upset is the hyper carry. So yeah, I think especially if this looks a little bit like a modern, younger version of the Liquid lineup, in my opinion, with a smarter jungler, maybe a little bit worse in the support role, mid lane, maybe a little bit worse in mid lane as well, but probably slightly better in top and ADC. Not sure. So yeah, if it's a bot and jungle focused meta, I think Origin can be very very good. If it's still a mid lane focused meta, I don't think they can compete with G2, Fnatic, or even Rogue. Yeah,
I mean, I think there's a fairly good chance that it will be a bot lane focused
might be.
meta, or at least mid and bot. You want to have bot prio when dragons are so high prio.
Yeah,
Like, makes sense, right? We won't know until competitive is being played. This is just early thoughts.
depends a lot on the game length as
But
well,
yeah,
right? If it's a 25-minute
yeah,
meta, bot lane will not be the focal point. If it's a 40-minute meta,
no,
why not?
yeah, exactly. Why not? Moving on though, just because we are droning on just a little bit, to the east, we head to the
Oh yeah.
𝘀𝑠𝗃. If we want to start with them. So in our beautiful little list, and again, feel free. Wait, does this list not have?
I don't think so.
Our list doesn't have 𝘀𝗃.
The Reddit list
No.
doesn't have an
I never
𝘀𝗃
thought about it.
either, but I can try to put it together from memory. So the big things are 𝘀𝗃 breaking
Yeah.
up, 𝘀liche and 𝘀𝗀
Yeah,
leaving
that's
𝘀𝗃.
huge. Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, we can start with
Oh yeah,
𝘁𝗃, BDD, Rascal, and 𝘁liche.
as well as Ruler and
That's a
Live
big
still
start.
there. So this is a
Is that? Yeah,
very
exactly.
exciting roster,
That's a
because
big change.
Ruler was still touted as one of the best ADCs in the world, even by most of the Korean analysts. So we have Ruler, still very solid ADC that can play almost every style. He can hard carry, he can play the supportive style. He's a world champion on Varus, right? Yeah. So Ruler
Yep.
is still there with Live, a very strong bot lane. We have BDD in the mid lane, and Rascal on the top lane, maybe the only question mark of the roster. Where Rascal, 𝘁liche, BDD, Ruler, Live looks like a big title
Yep.
contender, and 𝘁𝗰 finally wants to attack, or wants to grab that 𝘙𝑠𝑖 trophy. They've made big moves in every offseason, but so far failed more often than not, especially with the peanut pickup. I really like this move. I think
Yeah.
𝘁liche, BDD, not only do they look very similar, I think they will synergize well.
But yeah, running through some other changes, not team by team, just going back sort of in time over the last week or so. 𝘁𝗀 has gotten rid of 𝘁𝗀. He's gone free agent, as has Tempt. The 𝘀𝗃𝗃 have got Fly. 𝘁𝗀 have got Light in the bot lane, and they've re-signed Grace. Sandbox picked up
Yeah,
Lee.
that's interesting as well.
That is a big one. We'll come back to it, don't worry. On the side of T1, it's going to take a long time for us not to call them 𝘀𝗃. But they are just T1 now. They released Marta. I think that was
He moved to
that
coach,
was
I think.
pretty obvious. I think you might be right, but
No,
he's
no.
not playing anymore. Effort has been re-signed, obviously, and the big thing is 𝘁𝗀, 𝘁𝗃, and 𝘁𝗀 are all gone.
𝘁𝗀, I think, is still
That's a
in
big one.
conversation to resign, while 𝘁liche and 𝘁𝗀 are definitely gone.
Yeah,
They
he is
they
free,
will not go back to T1.
which is pretty
Yeah.
crazy. 𝘀𝗃 has parted ways with 𝘁𝗶𝗶𝗹𝘀, BDD, and Prey.
BDD is
So
very
𝘀𝗃's
surprising
got
to
some
me. Why did they part ways with BDD?
They have. I mean, maybe it was a
Yeah.
contract issue. I'm not sure. But anyway, we'll come back to these. Don't worry. I'm just running through them. They did pick up aiming though. 𝘀𝗃𝗃 got rid of aiming, obviously. 𝘂𝗏 and 𝘁𝗀. 𝘁𝗔 dropped 8 players. Wow. And Kingzone Dragon X extended a contract with Deft, as did T1 with Faker.
Yeah,
Griffin
Griffin does not exist anymore, basically. We don't know anything about Damwon,
Griffin
as far as I know.
is. Yeah, so far they haven't said anything. I think at the moment it's safe to assume they're not changing
It's
anything.
interesting as well. No new ADC.
Yeah, I mean maybe they couldn't. I mean I don't think nuclear is that bad. You could definitely upgrade, but
He's
it's not terrible.
serviceable, but not good enough to win international titles.
Yeah.
So 𝘁𝗀 is the first big confirmed team. We have what are the big free agents in Korea? We definitely have Tarzan, 𝘁𝗶𝗀, Viper, 𝘁𝗀s, so all the Griffin players. No one wants Sword anyway, so he doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We have Khan, 𝘁𝗏, but he's not that big anymore. 𝘁𝗀 retired, so he's not available. 𝘁𝗏, one of the big junglers, still available. Everyone wants 𝘀𝗃 or T1 to pick up 𝘁𝗏.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mid laners, Showmaker is still contracted. It's only really 𝘁𝗀, because BDD is signed already. 𝘀𝗃 is free as well, but 𝘀𝗃 fell off a cliff last season, so 𝘀𝗃 is not that big of a prospect. Maybe we'll see a few new mid laners in the 𝘁𝗃. Usually, we see a lot of new talents. So I think the biggest prospects are
Yeah.
all the 4 Griffin players. I'd really like to see Griffin plus 𝘃 on Kingzone. I hope they can make something happen. Tarzan to T1 could be an option. Do you think that might work? Tarzan should be a very good player in the next, in
Potentially.
the new meta.
Yeah, potentially. Um, do you think there's any really dramatic new challenger or a big team that's massively fallen? Hard to say if T1's going to be
I
the
mean,
same team
𝘁𝗃
in
was
terms of
barely a
dominance.
good team last year, but they seem to completely rebuild. T1 needs a very strong top side to compete. I think they have a solid bot side. Teddy and Faker are good backline carries. They need a little bit of playmaking, in my opinion, in
Yeah.
jungle and top lane. I could see them go for a fresh top laner. Maybe Doran might be an option, or someone completely new.
Maybe.
And bid for
Where's Sword going to end up, boys? Where's
hopefully not
Sword going?
T1. If T1 picks up Sword, they are done. um,
That's he'll drive Sword straight through him. That'd be a terrible.
I think they'll bid a lot for a good
Yeah,
jungler,
Doran's an option.
𝘁 or Tarzan, or a new jungler. For new junglers on 𝘁𝗃 have not worked out really, but yeah, I think Tarzan or 𝘁 are probably the big prospects in jungle for 𝘁𝗃 or T1, as I should say. I'm excited for the Kingzone roster if they can put together anything. And the last roster I'm really excited about, not counting Gen G because they are confirmed already. What will 𝘁𝗃 do with Keen? They have one of the best top lane assets.
Yeah.
They just need to build a team around him. They dropped aiming, which is surprising. Aiming was a good ADC.
Yeah. I mean, something else just to comment on with Kingzone is they got a bit
Yeah.
screwed over in the last few days. They picked up 𝘁𝗃 and then
Oh right,
got
they picked up.
definitely
Yeah,
screwed.
that's. Yeah, hopefully this suspension will be lifted because it seems like the accusations are a little bit blown out of proportion.
Um.
You don't think so?
Look, I don't want to go too deep. I don't want to go too deep on this because it's a very controversial issue. And as someone pointed out in Discord earlier, the only things we see is what people translate. We don't speak Korean. Um, but from what I've seen, some of the things he might have said to Sword were horrible. Um, like, really horrible. The comparison I saw was that if you have a coach that kind of swears a lot and yells, but they do it to everyone, that's actually okay, as long as they're not way over the top. That's fine, because it's not bullying, but apparently 𝘁𝗃 really went in on
Okay.
Sword.
Yeah.
Like, and a few other players, if it was just Sword saying it, I'd say, like, yeah, alright, mate, sure thing. But a few other players have said things, and the players that aren't speaking up, there's always the risk that they really want 𝘁𝗃 as a coach, so they're kind of just staying quiet. I don't know. I hope there's a bit of an investigation done, potentially a little bit deeper, because I know elements of the Korean government are
Yeah.
commenting on it, which is a pretty big deal. Like, there was a senator calling out, and I mean, if you looked at the contract for Griffin, some of the excerpts that got posted, that was bad. As I said, I'll get very upset about these things because of my political beliefs. Player union, player union needs to happen last year. Needs to happen, but yeah, I hope 𝘁𝗃. I mean, I hope the accusations are
Yeah.
untrue and he gets the suspension overturned. But if the accusations are true, then good riddance.
Yeah,
to
that's
that
fair.
rubbish.
That's fair. They should be banned.
Um,
It's
yeah.
slightly unfair towards him personally because of the because it's very probable that this is common in Korea. I've heard multiple people talk about what he
Yeah.
did verbally is not unusual. So only banning him for this is it's not unfair to ban him because of what he did. It's
True.
yeah,
He's the
he's a
scapegoat.
scapegoat and should be investigated more thoroughly for every team. But yeah, it's bad for the
Yeah,
Kingzone.
I
It's
do.
not great for them.
Yeah, it's not Kingzone's fault. They just picked up a really good coach. One thing, my last thing I'm going to say on this is I do hope this prompts players to realize, get a lawyer to read your contracts. Do not sign things without a lawyer reading it because you will get trapped by legalese. You need representation. It's so important. But anyway, moving on from that, because ethics isn't what we care about. We care about who's got the best rosters. Yeah, but Korea, other than a few teams pretty much collapsing and having to rebuild, there weren't too many individual changes. It was sort of like
Yeah.
an A, right?
I think we still need
It
to
wasn't the
hold our
slotting
judgment a little bit on the Korean teams. We don't know all the rosters yet. 𝘀𝘰 looks very promising. Maybe
Yeah.
there are 3-4 new fakers next season that completely turn everything upside down. So it's very hard to predict what will happen in Korea. But yeah, interesting moves. I think it's the right conclusion Korea drew from the bad international results. They have now played 2 years without a single international title. So
Yeah, which is
yeah.
unbelievable.
So
right?
they need to change something, and the change already happened to some of the teams, 2019. So now is the second part. KT cleaning house, all the old stars getting removed, replaced by new ones, and we'll have to see if Korea can come back to old glory. I think the times of Korean domination are definitely over, especially looking at LPL. If anything, we are entering in the times of LPL domination. Korea should still be a strong region, and that's also good for League
Yeah.
of Legends. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You want the more strong regions, the better. Strong teams drive strong teams to get stronger. Exactly what we want. And we go on to our final region, the LPL.
You think we? I don't think we can
heard
really
much?
talk about LPL. I think
Like, I don't think... I mean, I have to bring them
Yeah.
up, because they are the other region, but...
let's
there's nothing
postpone
to
them to a future podcast.
Yeah.
I just wanted to quickly
Improtide.
hit on the VCS, our home region, so to speak.
Yeah, of course. Of course. I was going to bring us
Okay.
on to that. Don't you worry. But
What do you
go
want to
ahead.
see happening? Because we have not really heard anything confirmed so far, so I don't think it's too wise to speak about VCS rosters or rumors right now. I think we can do that in the future episode, but just what you really want to see this off-season.
Put Yoshino on 𝘀𝘀cie.
On 𝘀𝘀cie. Oh, nice.
Well, I think, look, 𝘀𝘀cie is my gut instinct because obviously the biggest hole on 𝘀𝘀cie is their top lane. Like, can you imagine the level up for 𝘀𝘀cie if you drop Hana?
Yeah,
and
that's
put Yoshino
actually a
in?
good change.
That's quite a level up. It doesn't make the team perfect, obviously, but that's a very, very big upgrade. I mean, I also want police to end up somewhere that's good. Honestly, my biggest hope for the VCS is that Yoshino ends up somewhere that's not 𝘀𝗀. Or this. I mean, this is not going to end up true. If it does, I don't know, I'll have to think of some ridiculous bet. This whole, 𝘂𝑐e is going to LPL. Or 𝘂𝑐e is retiring to stream. Like, it's not going to happen. But if that turns out to be true, okay, Yoshino can stay on 𝘀𝗀.
The funny thing is that this will probably not change anything in the VCS grand scheme of things. If 𝘂𝑐e goes to LPL, Yoshino will just dominate top lane for 𝘀𝗀, and 𝘀𝗀 will still be the best team.
Exactly. I mean, we've been saying that for what, like the back half at least of the split. The 𝘀𝗀 has the 3 best top laners
Yeah.
in the league.
I really want to see Yoshino on another team
They
as
play
well.
one in the middle.
I could
Yeah.
imagine if FTV actually has the money, FTV could actually try to build a super team. After we just re-sign your bot lane, you have Police B. They had good synergy. Police was very good on the latter half of Summer Split. So you have a very solid bot lane. You sign Yoshino for top lane. You sign a mid laner, maybe Dia, maybe Artifact if he is available. And suddenly you have a very strong roster. 𝘀𝗀𝗃 was a decent jungler as well. You could also try to go for another jungler, but I think you could actually end up with a very strong FTV roster. Yoshino, 𝘀𝗀𝗃, let's say Dia, Police B, and suddenly FTV looks like a top team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, the thing with the VCS is, as far as I'm aware, there's been no official announcements. And because of the nature of our Discord server, most of what we hear is scum. There has been rumours of both current top laners leaving. Yoshino going to another team, 𝘂𝗏 going, I don't know, 𝘂𝗏 going to Fairyland. I don't think anyone in LPL is going to pick up 𝘂𝗏. I just don't think it's real. But if it is, and then 𝘁𝗏 going top and then picking up Artifact for mid, which would be pretty scary, but they're already scary.
Yeah. The only LPL team I could see going for 𝘂𝗏s, if they didn't have a very good top laner themselves, would be Snake or whatever their name is right now, LNG I think. Because they already have 𝘂𝗏𝗻, so 𝘂𝗏𝗻 𝘂𝗏s would be a two Vietnamese player combination. And 𝘂𝗏𝗻 is very successful in LPL, so if 𝘀𝗀 for some reason retired or got ill or injured, I could see them bidding for 𝘂𝗏s, but they have 𝘀𝗀, so there's no reason for them to pick up 𝘂𝗏s.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I mean, I think if 𝘂𝗏s was to go to LPL, it'd be as a sub.
yeah, it's still way more money than he's doing,
like
and he's making in a VCS probably, but
oh, it'd be if. Oh no. If he could get as contract, if I'm 𝘂𝗏s, any LPL team in the world can say sign here, and I'm scribbling me name because you're gonna like.
I don't really think he'd go for that
because
because he's in a team with 𝘂𝗏, and 𝘂𝗏 has experienced this and will probably really not advise 𝘂𝗏s to do this because he was very unhappy in LPL. He was unhappy in NA LCS as well, or NA, not even LCS Academy. So yeah, I think.
Yeah. What a waste.
Oh, what a waste! But he's back to dominate our league. So yeah, I really want to see a challenging team.
Yeah, I mean, look, if we're talking about having, VCS not shit the bed at Worlds, we probably want to keep 𝘂𝗏s in the league, because he was probably fine. He was pretty good at Worlds. I don't think he was the issue. Yeah. Again, it's hard to say anything until we actually have some confirmed rosters.
Very true.
Right? It's all just 𝘁𝗏𝗃 said.
Yeah, and we don't really want to trust him.
I think this man trolls a lot.
Oh. He went through with this we will pick the troll team announcement, which was super troll on their side, but whatever. In the end, 𝘀𝗏𝗃 still made Worlds, so I'm fine.
Yeah, exactly. I hate that they're like, oh no, Yoshino won't go to 𝘀𝗃 because 𝘁𝗏𝗃 hates 𝘀𝗃 too much. It's like, no, give him the best team. Don't do that to my boy. I love Yoshino so much.
Yeah, it's so sad to see him just wasted on the bench.
It's like my favorite player in the VCS.
It's very sad to see.
It's such a waste. But I mean, I'm not sure how much else there is to say about that.
Now we'll come back to the VCS, especially if we get to cast the VCSB final. We can talk about that a little bit next week or whenever the next episode will drop. But I think that's it. We've talked for a long time today. There's a lot to cover.
We've done a long episode. Yeah, I mean, we had a lot to go over. We haven't recorded anything since
That's
Semis, so
true.
there's a lot to chat about.
Too depressed and too indulged in Pokemon to talk.
Yep, Hearthstone Battlegrounds. That's been fun. But yeah. Anyway, that unless you've got anything else to say, Any final comments?
No, I'm very excited for the rest of the off-season. I think this will be super exciting next season, even though the Dragon concerns are there. Matter seems to be going in the right direction, and yeah, I'm excited to see the first few competitive games on the new patch. Hopefully this Sunday already, so yeah.
Yeah, if VCSB is playing on live, then it's really exciting. It's going to be fun anyway. But yeah, that is going to be it for this episode. No idea what episode number it is. Probably like 5, 6. Of the EveryWei podcast. I've been EveryWei, and with me has been Yulwei. So, see you guys.
See you soon.